Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial in our series on how to make a survival game with Ultimate Survival. Before I start, I just wanted to give a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed and supporting the channel. I can't believe we've hit 522 subscribers at the time of recording this. That's just crazy. So I'd like to say thanks again. You are all fantastic and awesome. And just like I promised, we'll be giving away an asset in this video, and that's donated by the fantastic people at DevDog. Look at this, Vikings of Brutality, and they're quite brutal indeed. You get all of these fantastic, awesome looking models. It's actually, I think it's the same one with different variations that you can tweak them and make them look different. These funky beards, and all of these cool weapons. How are you going to get this beautiful asset, I hear you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you that later on in the video because I don't want to spoil the surprise just yet, and I want to make you work for it just a little bit more by watching this fantastic tutorial that we've put together for today. Let's take a second to watch the video from DevDog, which shows us what we're going to get in Vikings of Brutality. And again, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel, commenting, sharing, tweeting, liking, and doing lots of things that end in ing. In this video, we're going to be adding new functionality for unloading our weapons, and we're going to be adding functionality for adding magazines, so we can load our magazines with ammo, unload our magazines, and load magazines into the assault rifle and other such compatible guns. We're also doing a bit of work to clean up some of the code that we did in the last tutorials to make it easier to upgrade and really easier to maintain whenever Ultimate Survival has any updates. And here we are inside our game with my trusty shotgun. Just going to shoot one off. When I reload, it just reloads that one cartridge. If I shoot two, I'm going to load two shells into my shotgun. Here's my beautiful assault rifle with the new unload button. If I fire a couple of rounds off and then I unload it, here it is, 26 rounds left, and if I drag it in, I've now loaded these 26 rounds with one animation as opposed to doing it twice. Now we're going to be editing lots of files in this tutorial, so I've put the names of the files and actually where you can find them in the folder structure in Ultimate Survival. So I'm just going to have this on the screen. You can pause it and have a look if you ever get lost or you need to remember which files you're going to edit. We're going to be creating two new files in this tutorial. We're going to be creating the item unload script. We're going to attach that to the item inspector object, and we're also going to be creating the ammo track handler script, and we'll be attaching that to the inventory controller object. We'll be creating new custom properties and editing existing ones. So the ammo type string, we'll be using that. We'll be using the ammo int property. The ammo capacity property will be an integer, and the is ammo, we're going to change that to be a none, and that was a bool in the last tutorial. Now we're going to be adding three new ones. So they're the is ammo mag, we're going to have that as a none. The requires ammo mag, again that will be a none. And we're going to create an has ammo mag, and that will be a bool. Each time we play about Ultimate Survival, we're learning a little bit more, and as such we're going to play about, make some changes with what we did last time. So let's go Tools, Ultimate Survival, Item Management, and we're going to go to the Property Editor, and let's just tweak a few things. Now this is ammo, doesn't actually have to be a bool. If we put none, we can still use it by just saying has property. We need three new properties, all for the magazine. So I'm just going to grab this one, click on it so it's highlighted, and do Shift D to duplicate. And I'm going to change this to be is ammo mag. Just copy that, and again duplicate. And now we're going to have has ammo mag, and Shift D for duplicate again. And we're going to have requires ammo mag. So we've got is ammo mag, requires ammo mag, and has ammo mag, but the last one has ammo mag. It's going to be a ball, so we can say it's got it, but it doesn't. Okay, let's go back to the item editor and start playing about. So we've got here ammunition. This is what we had in the last tutorial, our shells. So you see here we've still got is ammo property, and now it's no longer a ball, it just says is ammo. Here we've got 5.56 bullet. I'm going to change that and say MM, and here in the display name I'll put bullet. Makes it a little bit nicer. And the properties we want to have is ammo, because it is ammo, and we need to have ammo type, and the ammo type is going to be the same as its name at the top, so that we can spawn this correctly. And while we're at it, let's just duplicate with the Shift D and make here a magazine. Display name is going to be, let's call it ammo magazine, and same here, ammo magazine. And the icon, we're going to grab anything you want. I've just taken something off the internet, so if I look for it, I can put here ammo. I got it, ammo clip, and I'm going to just really name this and change this description to say ammo magazine. And the ammo type, we actually want it to be blank, and we want to add ammo capacity, leave that blank, and we want to add ammo, and we want to also have is mag. So let's put ammo type at the top, is mag, ammo capacity ammo, and there. So now let's start using these properties. We can say 0 because it's the first one, say something ammo magazine, and leave that at the top one, and here we'll say can hold rounds. Actually put that in there, and here we'll say has 2 rounds. So 2 is this one here, that's 0, 1, 2, so it's saying it has so many rounds in it, and then it's a something ammo magazine that can hold up to this amount of rounds. And the last one we need to add on our magazine is the where are you hiding, can dismantle, and that's just going to reuse an existing functionality to say that we can actually dismantle, in our case unload, the magazine. Gun for the assault rifle, and we want to change that to be MM because that's what we changed our ammo type to, and we want to also include here not can dismantle because we've already got that, requires ammo mag, and also capacity. So for that I'm just going to put 30, and I'm going to put ammo, let's also have it at 30, and we also need to put the has an ammo mag, let's set it to true so it starts off always with a full magazine of 30 bullets. Okay, so let's get back into Unity. We want to start loading up some scripts, so we want to play about with the FP hit scan animator that we touched last time, which is this guy, and also we want to start moving some code that we had in there into here, the FP manager script. Okay, so I'm inside the FP hit scan animator script, and let's scroll down to find our set fire. Now we had a little bit of a bug, and every time I was trying to reload the gun, it was loading up the last one. So now we're going to move that into its rightful home. So grab this, let's just cut it out and pop over to the FP manager, and come down here. You can see all the other ones that they've got. We'll add hours underneath, and about here. That looks good. And we no longer need to have all of this. We can just grab all that and place it with the player. Now we go right down to the bottom, find some empty space, and let's just chuck in a new function. And this is going to be for our reload. We're going to call it try reload, because that's what we had at the top here. In the last script we had, where are you hiding? Right at the top, try reload in the name of what we're calling here in our set try for the reload. So this is our reload attempt, set the try, and then try reload. Down here, don't forget that we had a int in the last one, and now, because that's how many bullets we were going to load, now I've put a new ball. We've called this ball single load. This is to say if we're going to load just one animation or have multiple animations. And here we're using same as what we had up here. If equipped weapon is not, well, is null, then return false and get out of it. If it's not null, we would have got past this and then just return true. Now later on we can start adding more funky code, but for now this is all we're just sticking in here. Let's save that, and while we've saved it, let's just grab this while we're here, copy it, and when we pop into our FB hit scan animator, we can replace the old ones now with this new one, and likewise on the try reload. Now we can actually use this single load to say if we're going to do one animation or two. Put a comma in there, grab that, put that there, so we make sure that we're passing this single load ball over to our coroutine. And in our coroutine, we're just going to put an if statement. If the single load is true, then we'll actually turn our ammo load into 1. So if our single load is true, ammo load is 1, instead of getting what we passed through in this loop here from the coroutine. There we go. Now you'll only play once. Save that. So now let's scroll back up to the top. I want to add in here a private variable for our ammo drag handler that we're going to use later. We're going to just drag in the script into this serialized variable. Down here above our reload speed, we're going to put a listener in place. And here we've got our reload listener. So we're saying if the ammo drag handler is true, then we're going to add a listener for our reload attempt, and there we're going to need to put an int and a ball, and we're going to have our try reload. It's going to be using the m_need ammo variable for my ammo drag handler that we're going to add later, and also the single load variable for my ammo drag handler that we're going to add later. Let's just add another little space between those. Okay, now we want to open up the player event handler script. You can find that underneath the mail player object. Here it is, and let's open that up in our favorite editor. Go inside our editor, let's go down into our reload. Where is he? Boom, 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 reload. Okay, now we want to add a ball into here. Ball, and in here, comma, ball. Save that. Just going to put here, reload attempt requires an int for the amount of ammo, oops, and a ball if it's single animation. Back into Unity, let's go into our folder that we make our own scripts, and wherever you've got yours, I've got mine in the all my stuff scripts folder, and in here I'm going to create a new script, and I'm going to call this one ammo drag handler. So right click, click create, C# script, ammo drag handler, and while I'm at it, I'm also going to make another script, and I'm going to call that one item unload. So first things first, let's grab all this up the top here and paste that in here, and let's indent in U, and we've got to add in another curly at the end for our namespace. I also want to get rid of this mono behavior and make it a singleton with the item drag handler. So let's just copy that from here and paste that here. Let's put that curly on its own line underneath. Let's go back into the item drag handler and grab these three, cut that out, and let's paste that here. There you go. And let's go back into the item drag handler and let's make you a public ball. Let's make you a public savable item and you a public rect transform, so we can use those in our new ammo handler script. And we want to be able to reference our new ammo drag handler, so I'm going to put that in here, and down in the start we're going to put in the ammo drag handler and say get the component from the parent ammo drag handler. I'm going to put the ammo drag handler at the same object as we've got the item drag handler. That way they can find each other really easy. Similar thing we're going to do over in the other file now as well. I'll just save before we move over. Back in our ammo drag handler, underneath our new variables, we're going to put in item drag handler and we're going to call it item drag handler, and that way we can reference the item drag handler script. Now just grab this one from here and in the start put it the same thing, so item drag handler, and we want the component item drag handler, not ammo drag handler. I've just saved that. So let's pause and I'm going to paste some code in. We've got a public int for m underscore need ammo. We'll set that to 0 as default, and we've got m underscore single load, that's false by default, and item under pointer as a public savable item. Now in front of all of these we've got hide in inspector because they're public. I don't want to see them in the editor inside Unity though. Here I'm just going to add in an audio, and this is going to be a generic reload audio file that will play when we want to reload our weapons. So get rid of don't need you anymore. Let's pop back into the item drag handler file and let's go down and just take everything we added in before and paste it into our new script. So let's go down, here we go, from here onwards. Let's grab all of this from the load ammo all the way down, past all of this and past here, so where there's only two curlies left, let's grab that, cut it and pop back into our ammo drag handler. We don't need this update, so let's paste over our update, just get rid of that space there, tidy it up a little bit, pop back up to the top, let's copy that and paste in it again and just replace the item under pointer with m underscore dragged item because we're going to use that later on. Let's pop back into our item drag handler. While we're here, let's just make that public because we're going to use you. Up here where we've got our reload, load ammo if it can load, then return, get out the function, otherwise carry on. This fellow, we need to add a comma and paste in the m dragged item that we added in our ammo drag handler. Right, I'm going to save you and let's pop back into our ammo drag handler and start editing about with this can load ammo ball. Now remember that we changed his ammo, instead of being a ball is now a none, so we don't need this dragged item dot get property value is ammo ball. It won't actually work because it's no longer a ball. So remove that. That's good enough for us, and we need to add in some new balls under here. Let's make this a space, and I'm going to use the magic of pause, and I'm going to come back in a second and paste in a bit of code and we're going to talk through it. I've unpaused and we can see three new balls: can load ammo mag, requires mag, and load from ammo mag. The can load ammo mag is pretty much the same as we had for can load ammo, but instead of being able to see can you load ammo into a weapon, it's saying can you load ammo into a magazine. So you've got checks to make sure that the item under pointer our pointer and the dragged item exist, and also checks to make sure that both items have the property ammo type. And then we're checking to make sure that the thing we're dragging has the same ammo type as the thing we're dragging onto, because you want your ammo to be the right ammo for the magazine. And now we're making sure that the thing we're dragging has the properties ammo, the thing we're dragging onto is actually an ammo mag, and the thing we're dragging is not an ammo mag, because you don't want to be dragging a magazine onto a magazine. Now we need to make sure that the weapon actually requires an ammo magazine. So we're making sure that first of all this ball is correct, so the first one is true. So can you actually load ammo into the weapon? And now we're saying, does this weapon, the item we dropped onto, have the property requires ammo mag? Also, make sure that the item you're dragging onto, again, is not a magazine and it's a weapon. And now we've got the load from ammo mag, and that's basically a combination of the two balls to say, yes, this weapon requires a magazine, and no, this weapon is not a magazine that's being loaded. So to make things a lot easier, we want to reuse some of this big dump of code that we've got, and I'm going to make a public ball, and it is a function that we're going to use for loading up all of our code that we had above. It's going to be reusable. Let's close that curly bracket. The things we're going to be passing through, we're going to pass these parameters. We're going to have this value for the item under pointer, variable for the dragged item, how much ammo we've got in the stack, the slot that we initially dragged from, a ball to say can we animate, or should we animate rather, and another ball which we're going to use to say is this a single load animation or multiple one. So if it's single load, we'll say true. Alright, now we're going to go up here, we're going to start chopping up bits of code. Grab from the ammo amount down, past this else statement, past this other else statement, and grab that. Okay, so cut that out, and this, now you belong here. We're going to worry about all this stuff in a moment. And now go down into our new public ball, paste that in, and let's just tidy that up a little bit because you're too far out. That's better. And these are too many ifs. But we don't need this check anymore because we'll use it later on in the main function. So let's tidy that up. Indent these back in. Nice. Now do you remember at the top we made this m underscore need ammo and m underscore single load and m underscore item under pointer? Well, we're going to use those down here now. So instead of having this int need ammo, we'll use this m underscore need ammo, and instead of this we'll have m underscore need ammo. And let's make use of these ones here. So we'll go m underscore single load equals single load, and we'll say m underscore item under pointer is actually the item under pointer. Right? Now we don't want to have this reload attempt trying every time that we're running through this. We only want to do it if we've got the animate load is set to true. So again, we're just going to paste in some code so you can copy it home, and it's simple. It's if animate is load, so that ball is set to true, game controller local player reload try, and now we're saying m underscore need ammo. We also need to pass along our single load, and actually let's pass along this one here, m underscore single load, because we made it, might as well use it. And else, so if we don't have animate load set to true, instead we're just going to play our sound that we've got, our generic sound. Now the rest is the same as before. Here we're destroying the object, but in our else we need to change these need ammos to be the right. So let's grab u and replace u with the correct m underscore need ammo. Actually, we want to grab U, because the same thing, we only want to animate if it's actually set to animate. So let's replace that one with this one. Lovely, much better. Alright, let's pop him back up. Now we've got our load ammo item ball set up and it's working nicely. Well, we imagine it is. We want to go back to here and start playing about. In front of our can load ammo, we're going to put another if statement to say, actually, is this can load ammo mag true? I'm just going to paste in and then we're going to play about together. So here you go, we've got can load ammo mag. Now we've got a new int for ammo stack, and that's the dragged items current stack that it's got. And here in ammo amount, we've got the item that we're dragging onto, how much ammo it's got. Now we've got the var, like we've got before, ammo amount dot int is our ammo var. So our capacity, again we're checking to see the thing that we're dropping onto, how much capacity can it take. And then we're saying ammo.current is current ammo plus that's how much you've got in the stack of what you dropped, this fellow here. Now the difference is, now we're saying return, because we need to return our ball if it's going to be true or false. So for our function, we've got item under pointer, mdrag item, how much we've got in the ammo stack, the initial slot, and false, we're not going to do an animation because it's a magazine and I don't have any animations for magazines. Now if you did, you could set that to true and start playing about, but for now it's just false. And here we've got true, which doesn't really make any difference because it's not animating. So you could put whatever you want here, false or true. I've just left it as true. And we've got here an else. You could put your else if on the same line there. And now we're saying, okay, can't load the ammo mag, but can you load the ammo? And while we're at it, I'm just going to add another little bit of error handling to say that here, if ammo stack is going to be greater than 0. So if we've got more than nothing in our ammo stack, then we might as well load ammo into item. Otherwise, you're not going to gain anything. You can have an else. Otherwise, it's going to complain that we don't actually have exits for all of the possible endpoints. So we've got here return false. And that way we can return back and get out of here. Now we're back into our else if can load ammo. Let's do a similar thing. Let's say if ammo stack is greater than 0, then we're going to do things else. So I'm going to paste in some code and we can talk about it together. We've got here if our ammo stack has got more than nothing, and then we're going to make sure that you can load from ammo mag, and we're making sure that the item we're dropping onto has the property has ammo mag. Now we're going to check that the thing that we're dropping onto doesn't actually have value for the ball, has ammo mag set to true. That means that it doesn't have a magazine already inserted, so you're not trying to jam in another magazine where there's a magazine in a gun. And we're also now grabbing our ammo stack variable and filling it up with how much we've got in our dragged item. We've got here a new var that we're creating has ammo, and that we're going to say is, does the item under the point that we're dropping have the ammo mag? Because now we need to set it to true. So we're saying has ammo mag is now set to true. Remember, it's a bool because you've just jammed in a new ammo mag. So if you ran through this again, it would actually now not be false because you've got an ammo magazine in your gun. And now we're returning and loading our new function that we made, and we're passing through true here. That's the difference between this one and this one. Up here we're saying don't animate, and here we're saying animate. And because it's a magazine, we're saying it's a single load, so only do one animation. Now else we've got here return false, so we're going to go back and exit this function. If all of this isn't actually met, so you can't load from the ammo mag, and the item that we're dropping into doesn't have a property ammo mag, or either of those really, then we're just going to do the load ammo item, and then we're going to say yep, animate, and it's not a single animation, it's multiple, so it will go through how many bullets you need to load. And in here, basically, this is saying that you've got no ammo left to load, so we could return false, and we could instead destroy the object you're trying to drop on there and then return it back to the original slot like we did in the last tutorial. But return false is basically going to then do similar thing. Instead, it will swap the items when you drop it into the inventory. If you don't want to do that, you can add in the code that we had in the last tutorial, which is this one here. We need to update these put item back and these dragged items and dragged items RT, so they're actually referencing the correct functions and variables from the item drag handler. So in front of the put item back, we're going to get this here. So let's copy that and paste you here with a full stop, and I'm going to grab you and copy you and paste you in here, paste you in here, same over here, and let's go down, do the same thing here, and again in front of the put item back. Here we go. Right, let's pop into our item drag handler because we're done now in the ammo drag handler, and you remember this fellow, ammo drag handler. We want to do the same thing like we did in the ammo drag handler when referencing functions. We want to change load ammo to be ammo drag handler dot load ammo, and now it's actually referencing the load ammo function from this script. Let's save. Let's pop up to tools, Ultimate Survival Item Management, make a couple of quick changes for a demo that we're just going to run. If we go to this assault rifle, if we take away the ammo mag and put back ammo down to nothing, ammo capacity to 30, ammunition, and here's our ammo magazines. So Shift D to duplicate and change the name of this to be 5.56 mm. Oops, too many sixes. Ammo magazine, go copy that, just paste that in here, and let's grab that and paste in here ammo type 5.56 mm. It can hold 30 rounds, it's got 30 rounds already in it, and now we connect, let's just grab that and copy, make sure we've got it. Now we've got a specific ammo magazine for the 5.56 mm, whereas this one is a generic magazine that we can dynamically assign the ammo type in runtime during our game. Right, let's close that and go to our inventory controller, and let's replace this axe with that magazine. Now we can reload it when we start up our demo. Right, let's pop back over to our assault rifle. We want to make sure that we've got our audio. So where's our, here we go, empty fire. Let's put a 1 on there, and let's find our clip noise that we had from before, and our reload audio. Let's give it an audio of mag insert. Which one is it? Oh god, my memory's getting bad. Was it that one? No, it wasn't. It was this one, mag insert 2. Ah dear. So let's just change that one to mag insert 2. There you go. Open up our model and let's find our assault rifle. So I'm going to grab the holster. I'm going to put the holster on my reload for want of a better animation, and when I finish holstering and stop my reload, I'm just going to draw it out again. Right, so let's click play. Let's hope it works. Fire 2 shots of my shotgun, and yep, I can reload my shotgun. Here's the cool 5.56 ammo that we made. It's got 30 rounds. Well, it has 30 rounds and can hold 30 rounds. Here's our assault rifle. Let's try and drag in. There you go. That's my bad animation. But we've got the cool sound as well. And then we can fire, and that's the clicking noise. Run out of ammo. Right guys, I think we're going to call it a day for this tutorial up to this point. We've got about 35 minutes I think into this video, and we haven't even touched on unloading the guns yet. So I'm a bit tired. Let's go to bed, and in the morning we'll start playing about with the unload script. Now I did promise you we were going to do a giveaway, and I do like to keep my promises. So to win the wonderful Vikings of Brutality pack from DevDog, all you need to do is make sure you're subscribing, and then click to share this video on your Twitter, adding a comment with a cool name for a Viking. Now I would like to say the best name wins, but we're just going to do a lucky dip. But do try to keep your names fun and, well, family friendly. And I know that I've just said that, so obviously everyone's just going to run off and create a Viking with a name like Booby McHornhead. So may the best Viking win, and remember guys, if you do like it, click it. See you next time. If you want to see more on the Ultimate Survival series, click on the links on the left side of your screen. And if you like these videos and you want to see more of them, please click subscribe. It's in that big button that's down below. And there's next to it, there's a little magic bell. And when you click that bell, it tells you when there's a new video out. So cheers, thanks for all the support.